Okay, so today is Valentine's Day and I'm making my Italian meatloaf. Usually I make spaghetti meatballs, but I have discovered Italian meatloaf, and I'm not talking like your typical tomato paste with ketchup, kind of a sweet meatloaf. It's technically a giant meatball, so you don't really have to call it meatloaf. I know that the word meatloaf kind of drums up 1970s, 1960s visions of a sweet, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and peas, which is fine, it's comfort food. But this is a whole new level. This is a giant meatball. It's kind of a meat oval, technically. A rounded rectangle. It's a rounded meat rectangle. Italian meat rectangle. But it's so much easier. It's so good. It's almost the same as my meatball recipe, but you're not having to individually roll 40 meatballs. You're just doing it in one pot. You're taking some of the sauce out so you can pour it over top, and then you're gonna slice it real thin and lay it on the spaghetti. What I like about it is that you use saltines. And so I just took the saltines, one sleeve, and I rolled them out with a rolling pin, and you can do it in a food processor. But then you put milk on it, let it soak up. Then you're gonna add Italian sausage and meat to it, ground beef, Parmesan cheese, some spices. I add a little bit of my preserved lemons. If you haven't made preserved lemons, go to the blog, Season with Joy, and get the recipe. And then when you add the preserved lemons, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, you have to trust me on this one. Preserved lemons are my favorite condiment. I put them in tzatziki sauce. I put them in my spaghetti sauce. I put it in salad dressing. Oh my gosh, when I make chicken piccata, instead of doing anything you would kind of put lemon zest in that's not sweet, savory, anything lemon zest savory, I would put the preserved lemons. I would like to come up with a different name than meatloaf. Like, that is so passe. It's so 60s. You gotta come up with a new name. It's kind of like casserole dish. I don't like the word casserole either. Potlucks, casseroles, meatloaf, all those phrases they kind of make me twitch a little bit. So I don't know about you. Do you have problems with casserole? Do you have problems? Are you a word person? Like, I have some words that I just really don't like. They cringe. My friends really like to say these words around me, and my mother-in-law especially. She loves to say the word creek, but she mispronounces it, and she says crick. There's no I in the word, so I have no idea where they come up with that, but it just literally makes my skin crawl. I don't know why. I'm a word person. I love words. I think there are some beautiful words, like the word delicious. Just love how it comes off the tongue, delicious. Crick? Mm-mm. I hate that word. After you add your tomatoes, you're going to turn it down to a simmer and add salt to taste. And then you're gonna work on the meatloaf. Okay, so these are preserved lemons. So when you're preserving them, you are actually kind of cutting them in a whole lemon in quarters. And so when you put them in there, you put salt in them, and then you have them on their counter for a few weeks. And you're not gonna use the inside, you're just gonna use the peel. So this is a quarter of a lemon peel, and I'm just going to mince it really fine. And you can use the lemon zest the same way, except this just gives it a nice salty lemon flavor, and it adds the good bacteria, probiotics, to whatever you're using it for. show you about preserved lemons. So my preserved lemons are my favorite condiment ever. So whenever in a recipe I call for 1/4 of a reserved lemon, I'm not missing a 1/4 cup or 1/4 teaspoon. I really mean a 1/4 of one. So, you know, it's like a whole Meyer lemon. Now you're not gonna use the inside, which is really funny because you think that when you have lemon, you juice the lemon part and you throw away the rind. But in this case, you're going to use the rind. So see how thin it is? So I'm going to add this to my garlicky broccoli that I'm making right now. You can hear it sizzling in the background. Garlicky broccoli is seriously, like, I think I can have that like 3 or 4 times a week. It's so yummy. It's just olive oil, broccoli, salt, pepper, red pepper flakes, and a heaping spoonful of garlic. Now, with this garlic, I go to Costco and I get their giant bag of peeled garlic, and I chop it up in my food processor. I fill the jar up, and then I put olive oil in it, and then I just keep topping it off with olive oil, and it'll stay nice and fresh. But it is so nice to have chopped garlic ready, and I use a ton in every recipe. So it doesn't take very long, super quick, super easy, and Costco's your friend. They sell organic broccoli already chopped up. I do have to cut it up a little bit more because they are huge, and I don't know anybody that has that big of a mouth. Okay, so now I want to show you how to do chiffonade. Whenever I talk about chiffonade in a recipe, it just means thin strips. So you're going to take the leaves of basil, put them together. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe how expensive basil is at the store. I can't wait for summer. This really technically isn't just a winter food, obviously. But it's so nice to go out to your backyard and just grab as much basil as you want. So I'm going to roll it like a basil cigar. See? And then I'm going to thinly slice it into threads. So you have these little ribbons. And then you're going to be able to put that as a garnish all over your Italian meat rounded rectangle. Okay, look at this. Is that not super yummy? Okay, so that is a big meat rectangle, oval, something, but it's not a meatloaf. So I'm going to eat it with my garlicky lemon broccoli and have a nice Valentine's Day. Okay, take 8, having kids come in and out. Okay, this is the fun part. You get a sleeve of saltine crackers. You can do this in the food processor, but my mother-in-law gave me this really cool, what do you call this? It's this thing